All right, buddy. Let's look at what the week had in store for us. So I know we've been super stressed, and a lot of this stuff has been difficult to get in, but that's why I'm presenting you with new challenges to overcome, like getting depth. Hi, motherfucker. So, um, we're really gonna try to punish positions that you're not really great in, and but allow you to push heavier, heavier effort. That's one of the biggest points of this program that we're coming into right now. Uh, that's going to be the hardest part for you is understanding that some of these particular exercises are going to have their own built-in constraints, and we're not just going to hammer because I can't just hammer super heavy competition lifts all the time. So that's the thought process behind bringing some of this odd stuff your way is to be able to push super hard um, in positions that are going to be self-limiting. So first things first, these narrow stance squats, try to sit straight down like you always wondered how I did. That was a good rep. Um, so spread out and sit straight down instead of sitting back. It's going to be hard. We might even have to, that was a good rep, even though we might have to elevate your heels. Because what I'm trying to get out of this is to correct that shift back, right? The big Jones butt sweep back where you end up losing squats because you get into a position where you can't end up fighting out of it. Just getting back into the swing of things too, man. We're gonna start pushing some serious weight here. The Larson press, this is too passive, and this is against the purpose of the actual lift. So I want the whole setup like you would normally set up for bench press. So sliding under, getting the upper back tight, all that stuff, and then extend the legs straight out like you're locked in, squeezing your glutes so that your ass is still tight on the bench. It's just I'm taking away leg drive, right? By not having the ability to drive here. I still want all this tight. So this is just too passive. And that's going to piss the shoulder off because you're not able to clear the shoulder through any type of arch position. So that's the key. Um, Another thing too, hold on. Yeah, if you set up a little bit more aggressively when it comes to the arch, have you ever thought about bringing your touch point down just a teeny bit? Maybe even clear your shoulder a little bit more. Deadlift is quickly turning into your best lift by far, mainly because your technique has gotten so stable and you've figured out how to sit back hard on the bar in these tough positions, especially with a pause. Um, this is actually a pause deadlift seems to actually be a benefit to you more than even just normal pulls because it grooves. And I know there's sets of five, it's just fucking atrocious. But this right here, and you can see it especially on the first rep, where you're here and you shift that weight back just a little bit. That's what finishes fucking pulls, man. That's what gets this thing rocking and rolling. I really like where we are with this. We're going to continue to push this variation. I know I sound like a teenage girl right now with my fucking voice. Um, and we will probably start incorporating deadlifting twice a week, one with an offset of sumo stuff. I know how much you are so excited about that. But just to fix, I think pushing your sumo deadlift is going to end up pressing your squat forward. Um, so when we get to that point, we'll revisit that whole thing. The only other thing that I would say, since neutral is a range, is on some of these pulls, you tend to look straight down and then lift the head up. Just be conscious of looking somewhat forward in a lot of these so that you can continue to drive the shoulders and the head back. Dun, 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 dun. So many sets. That'll just continue to improve this whole position. And again, when we're pushing these deadlifts, man, strap in. I don't give a fuck. Okay, strap in hard. get the overload of everything we're trying to, and we'll worry about grip as a secondary thing because it hasn't been something that's failed on you at any point in time. So I'm perfectly fine with you strapping in and going nuts with this stuff, okay? The bench press here, the 2 pause, I want a little bit more aggressive of a pause. And with the shoulder acting the way it is, I want to see that bench might be too high for you. Your feet flailing all over the place. I actually want to see, yeah, you're getting bound up in here, man. And that's not a typical position for you. Is you're getting your shoulders bound up towards your ears. So remember, shoulder blades in those back pockets. Get there aggressively and stay there. I think this might just be a byproduct of, lack of training for a little bit, so that we can try to get back into it. But yeah, we got to get, and we got to stay tighter. I think some of the bicep pain is because for a long time you've allowed that last 2 inches to get relaxed and kind of drop to the chest. And when you actually have to put force through the bar in really heavy loads, it creates an issue there because you haven't loaded that portion of the movement until you get to really, really heavy and you actually control it. So we will be going with this particular type of programming heavier more often to develop strength as a skill. You've had a great brute strength bench press for a long time. I want to see 500. I don't want to see mid 4s anymore. So we're gonna push the fuck out of this, and try to obviously get that shoulder healthier. To do that, eccentric shoulder flexion to start your workout with like a 20-pound bar, if at all possible, laying flat on your back, letting it come back and open up, and then any type of T-spine drills to start getting yourself opened up on the bench, because the best thing that we can do for this is bench press. Another thing, just a general modification, on any one of these days, if you find a bar that can give you a particular type of relief, like the cambered bar, like the football bar, sorry, or if what we have to do is cut the range of motion and have you do 1 and 2 board presses, that's fine. I want this to be pain-free, or at least not necessarily pain-free, but to a point where it doesn't actually increase or decrease performance. So I don't want it gnawing into the back of your head. Then that's what we're just going to have to do. And my man's in his comfort zone. Hold on. Before I speak out of my ass. Yep. Bring the bar lower. Not a whole lot, but just enough so that space right off your upper trap and delt, I can't see through anymore. Just a little bit. It's going to suck. If you have to bring your hands out a little bit and smash the pins, then that's the case. I need the pins lower. It's too high. Look at that shift. And don't jump the pins. That was better. You got to let it settle on the pins just a little bit. But yeah, that's too high. I want it down at least one more. Really force this position. It feels like shit when we start. 2 or 3 weeks from now, the thing's going to take off, and you're going to understand why I'm putting you through this terrible torture. But yeah, bring that pin down a little bit so we can really kind of push that range of motion and that control in the bottom of the hole, because it'll keep you from sweeping back.